I don't think that there, in the end, is any occupation that we can imagine for human beings in an economy which is completely immune from the effects of growing automation, the automation of robotics, and also the automation of expert systems and artificial intelligence. That means that we have to figure out in this coming century what it means to have a functioning economy without mass starvation, social unrest, Luddite revolts, when there's going to be a decline of employability, not just employment, but employability. There just won't be jobs. And we've already seen that. In the United States, the percentage of the population in the paid labor force has been declining since 2000. It accelerated after the 2008 economic collapse, but it just keeps going down. It got up to a high when women entered the labor force after World War II. The percentage of the population in the labor force increased to a high of about 66%, and it's just been going down since then. And then folks are going to start retiring. The baby boomers are going to start retiring. And there won't be any jobs for seniors. People talk about raising the retirement age, but there won't be any jobs for those seniors to find. So your generation, and hopefully, I'm at the end of the baby boom, so I hope to be able to retire. But your generation may never be able to retire because you're going to live a heck of a lot longer than we are. And we're going to have to renegotiate what it means to be a citizen and get stuff so that it doesn't have to be connected to doing work. That's the key point. You can't have to do work to get stuff in our society. We haven't figured out how to do that yet.
Right. One of the interesting points that Robin Hanson makes that's quite practical is that when you have a large segment of the society that's not working and has stuff and is you might say technically non-productive in that way, they have valuable things and they're not working. So is there a danger that we would kill off people like that and take their stuff? Well, apparently not, because retirees are in that category right now. Many of them are not working. They're not directly contributing to the workforce. They have stuff. And because we like society the way it is, we don't, attack retirees and take their stuff. So are we talking about a world where most of us will be in that category of not working, having stuff? Peter Diamandis' world of abundance and post-scarcity, the resources will be there for all of us somehow. We will figure out how to divide them up. But in the opinions, I suppose, of a lot of other people, they're not sure we're going to get there fast enough. There may be a period of a lot of strife where, as you say, there just aren't enough jobs. And when you read things written about automation, there's a famous book that came out in 1947 about the ultimate effects of automation. If you read the introduction to that book and then read about the Foxconn plan to replace 1 million workers with robots, that book appears to be really prescient and extremely relevant to what's going on today. But people also point out, well, look, this guy in 1949 wasn't talking about 2012. He was talking about the next few decades, that he thought there would be massive unemployment due to automation, and it didn't actually happen. So you can argue that we're crying wolf, but I have a feeling that we're not crying wolf now. I mean, isn't it very likely that unless things are extremely well-timed in terms of when abundance and post-scarcity comes, we're going to go through a very tough time where we don't have these new paradigms of paying everybody to be on permanent vacation. We haven't set that in place yet, but yet the number of jobs is plummeting. So do you see, like I do, that the synchronicity isn't going to work out quite right? There's going to be a period of time when this employment business will be a serious problem.
Frederick Douglass said, without struggle, there is no progress. And one of the problems with techno-utopians like Diamandis or Ray Kurzweil, a lot of the folks who talk about the singularity, is that they imagine, like the Fabians used to, that we could just painlessly evolve towards the kind of superabundance and lack of work that they imagine also we're going to have. And it's not going to be painless. There's going to be a lot of folks who are going to want to hold on to their stuff. And you can see that in the debate today. I mean, they don't make the connection between the current debates over austerity and entitlements and this language of entitlements and what kind of society we're going to have to create. We're going to have to create a society in which everyone has a basic income guarantee, in which the state continues to exist and it continues to extract income from someplace, and it figures out how to get that income to everybody who needs it to eat and have and housing. And if you think that what we need to be debating today is how to get everybody off of the dole and off of Social Security and off of Medicare and all of that, then you're moving in the wrong direction, and you're not seeing the connection between the world that you think, Diamandis thinks that his world's going to be in the next 20 or 30 years. And he doesn't see the connection between the politics that we need to be fighting for today and the kind of future that he wants to create, right? He doesn't want to see that connection. He's fundamentally incapable of seeing that connection because these rich entrepreneurs and engineers, they don't want to have people engage in a struggle for a more progressive income tax or for a basic income guarantee or to protect the social wage. So this is a fundamental political problem that the left has to be reconnected with technological optimism. It fell out of that camp a long time ago. After World War II, it decided that there was never going to be a machine which was going to be anything good for women or workers or black people or the poor, and that was wrong. And the techno-optimists need to be reconnected with the 200-year-old conversation about the connection between political change and technological change. Because it's not going to be this painless, here, everybody, have a magic nano box, and you can take out of it whatever you want, and then we have no need for social and political change.
Yes. Well, now, to what extent is it all a matter of bad timing? And to what extent does the dirty word of elitism enter in here? Do you think the Peter Diamandis vision that we'll never get there, or that a small segment will, and that a huge segment won't? Is it all timing, or is some of it division?
Well, I think there's a matter of the exoteric doctrine and the esoteric doctrine. The exoteric doctrine, the doctrine for the masses, is that everybody's going to get a magic nanobox and no one will have to starve. The esoteric doctrine is that the very wealthy and the very clued in will be able to move on to their floating island nations in the Pacific on garbage scows with their super nano weapons and their brain drugs, and let the rest of the world sink into a morass of Ayn Randian despair. Literally, there is a lot of Ayn Rand in that particular camp. I mean, you look at the phenomenon of Peter Thiel, the Christian conservative transhumanist libertarian. The principal funder of Ron Paul, our right-wing Christian anti-abortion libertarian candidate for president. And his vision is that, first he wants to live in the middle of the Pacific Ocean to get away from all of us democracy lovers, and then he wants to move into space. And I'm sure that he's not alone. It's just that he's much more bold about talking about it.
Yeah. Well, we have 1 minute left. This classroom holds 400 people. We have many fewer than that in our class, but the class coming is 400, and they can trample us in unpleasant ways if we're not out of here. So I want to thank you very, very much. We have a very broad concept of what the future of medicine is. The one question you may be left with is how what we did today has to do with the future of medicine. I assure you that as we define the future of medicine here, it's directly relevant. So you don't need to feel any guilt that you caused us to stray from it.
Let me just say one last word about that.
Yeah.
One way to stay ahead of the robots is to make sure that you're as smart as possible, and as healthy as possible. So that's the future of medicine. We all have to be on our game.
Right, great. Okay, well, thank you very, very much. I am deeply appreciative.
My pleasure.
Take care. Thanks.